Good morning, everyone. Imagine a grumpy Sunday morning when you're craving this extra hour of sleep, or a Thursday evening after a long week and you find yourself facing all these stressful preparations for midterms and exams. Of course, dropping out of university is not an option, neither staying frustrated is leading you anywhere. So how are you going to deal with it? As an architecture student, I face a lot of stress throughout because of our program. Nevertheless, this applies to all of us due to the demanding curriculum of university in general. However, in my sophomore year, when I got introduced to this one class, I was able to cope with all my stress, usually, which is pottery. And since then, the pottery lab is my escape where I de-stress and get all my negative energy out. According to the Art and Therapy with Adults 2004, studies conducted on a group of elders showed that after them taking a set of classes of pottery, their self-esteem raised up radically and also their levels of anxiety decreased. Therefore, I decided to share with you my experience about pottery making. So today, I'm going to inform you about the 3 phases of making a pot using the potter's wheel, which are the pre-making, making, and post-making phase. However, before I begin with these stages, we need to familiarize ourselves with certain aspects and terminologies about the potter's wheel and its history. According to Victor Bryant in The Origins of the Potter's Wheel in 2001, and a journal article conducted by David Holtz in 2004, there are 3 types of potter's wheel that was invented throughout the history. First of all, the manual wear, where the potter needed only one hand to do his pot while the other he was using it to spin the wheel with it. Then the kick wheel, which was invented by ancient Egyptians, and it made a big change because it was higher in velocity, more efficient, and it also helped the potter to control the pot more and create higher products because he was able to literally control it with both hands while his foot is controlling the pedal. But in the 19th century, the mechanical wheel was invented, and this is the most common one nowadays. It follows the same concept of the kick wheel, but it used a mechanical system instead, which makes it easier and faster. However, there are still some potters that actually enjoy the kick wheel more, because although it's harder, they enjoy this harmony that goes between their leg, their hands, and the pot they're making, which is a very meditative experience for them. Since now you have a brief understanding of the history of the potter's wheel, I'm going to walk you through the phases of making a pot. First of all, I'm going to start by the pre-making phase, where you need to prepare your essential tools. For example, you need a sponge, bucket of water to help you to remove the cracks throughout the process, a metal wire that will help you to take the pot out of the bath, and the bath, which is the plate that gets placed on top of the wheel. Then you need to choose your type of clay. There are 3 types of clay: gray clay, red clay, and porcelain. After choosing your clay, you need to take your piece using the metal wire, start slicing it into layers, then using both hands, start kneading it as if it was a piece of pizza dough, technically. Then this process is called wedging. It's very important because it helps you to compress the particles of clay and also get rid of the air bubbles that you don't want them to appear on the surface of your pot later on. Then you need to perfect your posture. First, you need to sit in a level that you are at the same height of the wheel, but at the same time you need your hands to be set and on the edge of the wheel. Your arms, only your wrists are moving while your arms are steady. And also you need to support your elbows on the side, so because the force is very high. Some people actually think that the process is easy. It's fun, but at the same time, these technicalities matter on because it helps you to actually get a perfect product at the end. After we're done, we have our posture ready and everything, our materials and clay wedge. Let's start the process of making. First of all, you need to take both hands on the piece of clay and throw it very strongly, aiming to the center of the wheel. If you do not actually make it, put it with force, this is going to happen. Your piece of clay will literally fly off the wheel and goes into the middle of the lab. It's that strong. Then later on, you start spinning the wheel, moisten your hands, and start pressing the clay piece while the wheel is spinning and create a cone. And with the palm of your hand, you take the cone and you press on top of it to make a cylindrical cone. This process is called centering. According to Maria Frigola, the process of centering is very important because it's your way that leads you to having a perfect and symmetrical pot at the end. It needs a lot of practice though because it's the most hard part, but at the same time it's the meditative part that I told you that I enjoy in the beginning, because you need a lot of practice in the beginning, but once you get the grasp of it, it's very enjoyable because you only focus on the spinning wheel and it's very enjoyable part of it. Then you take your thumbs and start creating an opening in the middle of the pot. Then using the palm of your hand from one side to support the clay and the sponge from the middle, start moving the excess clay from the bottom towards the top. But be careful, do not push too hard because you're just going to make a hole in the middle of your pot and you don't want that. The perfect pot, typically, it has a thick bottom and a thinner top where it's lighter in terms that this is the standards for the pot in general. But you could do it whatever you like, it's the artist's piece. Then, after you're done with your pot, you take your metal wire and press on the wheel and separate it from the bottom of the vat. And you leave it to air dry for about overnight. And at this stage, it's called a leatherware stage, when the clay is kind of strong, but at the same time it's moisture, where you could move to the next phase, which is the post-making phase. At this part, it's fun, it's creative, you could do whatever you want to your pot generally, or you could just leave it like it is. You take your pot, standard, likewise, you take it, you flip it, you support it with most pieces of clay on the bottom, on your wheel, and you start trimming the excess clay from the bottom so it's not sharp and cut your hand. Then after that, you could do whatever you want, as I mentioned. You could start using your carving tools to carve in the clay because it's still malleable. And after that, we move to the firing step. Firing is literally baking your pot. You first need to bake your pot twice. The first time, you use a kiln for that. It's on 1,000 degrees Celsius. The first time, you move into a phase which is called a stoneware phase, where your pot loses all the water in it, but at the same time, it's very fragile. That's why you need the second step of firing. And at this stage, you could add colors to your pot. You cannot add it earlier because it's just going to disappear through the process of firing it. And also you could add glazing. Glazing is this chemical coat that you add to your pot to make it more waterproof. It's not an essential step. You could skip it, but it's nice because it helps you at the same time. If you have a previous color, you layer these colors on top of each other to make a better decorative piece. And here we go. We have our piece of pot, our dirty piece of clay moved to this master. Then, to conclude, we talked about the 3 phases of pottery making. The pre-making part, where you prepare your essential tools and clay and make it ready by wedging. The making phase, where you throw your pot, you cone it, and centering, and you make your design. And the post-making phase, where you personalize your pot. Now I'm going to take you to this video that will show you demonstrating of how the pot was made. Today, I shared with you how I charge my positive energy throughout the week. So what is yours? Thank you. Thank you.